In a bold move, Bob Iger told investors that he is planning to cut spending on some of their most successful content on Disney Plus and Hulu. Why is Disney doing this? Let's talk about that on That Park Place. Hello, I am Jonas J. Campbell, an investigative reporter for That Park Place, and here with me is one of the Golden Girls, Mr. VashSky.
Oh, I did not know I had that distinction, but thank you so much, Jonas, for that lead up right here. Hopefully I can live up to the title.
Well, yes, thank you for being a friend. We want to go to this story out of Yahoo Finance, this by Lisa Richwine. It's been updated. Disney has dramatically cut traditional TV spending, the CEO says. And they added in some comments here. Walt Disney has cut its investment in programming for traditional television networks pretty dramatically as part of its strategy to maximize audiences and profit in the streaming TV era, Chief Executive Bob Iger said on Wednesday. Vash, why would Bob Iger do that? Why do you think that he thinks it's okay to say that? Let's start with that.
Because they're leaning harder into TTC probably, and he's recognizing that TV is probably a legacy business that has an endpoint at some juncture. He wants to be ahead of that curve. I can only speculate.
Yeah. I would say, just to kind of echo what you've just said there, that Bob Iger wants to look like they're going towards streaming, and that he's going to say, oh, well, we're not going to pay for those traditional television shows. Those are the old thing. What we want are these new shows that are on streaming. Of course, the problem is with streaming, they haven't actually made that much money on streaming when it comes to things that have been specifically made for streaming. I thought I was going to bring this up later in the conversation, but let's go over here. This is the Nielsen top 10 ratings here for, let's see, what week is this? This is for the week of April 15th to the 21st. This is the latest figures that we have from Nielsen. Here at the top, we have Fallout, which just came out. This is a ratings juggernaut for Prime Video. Good for them. I haven't watched it yet. Bluey, which is a traditional television show that happens to be on Disney Plus. Grey's Anatomy, traditional television show. The Resident, Family Guy, NCIS, and then down here some Netflix stuff, and then Criminal Minds. Looking at this top 10 programming right here, I see a lot of stuff that was made for traditional television, and I see a lot of long-running series that were made for traditional television. Vash, yeah. Am I crazy here? But it seems like, especially if you're going towards an advertising model, that traditional television might be the origination point for a lot of things that people are watching on streaming.
I think this is a really astute point that you're bringing up here, Jonas, because I think you mentioned it in the live stream as well, and I was like, oh, I've never really thought about it that way. But the best performing series on these streaming platforms is traditional television shows that have as many episodes as possible in order to reach syndication, and that way, when people grab these, they can have them on the background doing stuff, that's not necessarily engaging with that programming, but is definitely part of their lives, so to speak. So it's a really interesting point, and well, that begs the question, why is Iger necessarily moving away from this?
Right. I made the joke about the Golden Girls, and I've said this a lot, and Disney has yet to make a business case otherwise. But the Golden Girls, within its first 6 months on the platform, I think 30% of viewers watched the entire run within 1 or 2 months, and hitting ads all the way through it, because that's how Hulu operates. They run everything with ads. They make more money off their ads subscribers than they do off of the ad-free subscribers. That's the trick. When so many people say, I was an ad-free subscriber and now I'm canceling the service, they didn't make that much money off you. They want the ads people because they can charge more money through the ad spend than they do. Whatever. I hope I've communicated that point. Golden Girls has probably made the Disney company more money than The Mandalorian. It's definitely made them more money than almost any Star Wars series that is on the platform, almost any Marvel series that's on the platform, because those things cost $250 million a piece to make. And Golden Girls is just sitting there, just soaking up all this revenue. And they just drain out that sponge and say, yes, again, thank you for being a friend. I don't understand why Bob Iger would say they're not going to go for the traditional TV model. Let's talk about Paramount Plus, for instance. Frasier is on Paramount Plus, the reboot to Frasier, and it's 10 episodes. With a traditional sitcom, in the traditional model, you would make 23 to 26 episodes of a sitcom, and you would be able to amortize costs across that entire season here. They would do a pilot, they would do maybe an initial run, especially if it was a mid-season replacement, and then they would do the entire season after the fact. So And they were also able to adapt a little bit more as they got audience reaction here or there. Shop before a live studio audience. They're getting reactions from people who are fans of the show to see who's popular, who's not. But now you have shows like Fallout. Fallout is 8 episodes, and it's not a sitcom, but it's 8 episodes. There's not much to amortize there because they're shooting the entire thing as if it's a giant movie. If you look at Grey's Anatomy, 426 episodes, how many times did they pay to build that hospital? One time, and then maybe some refits as they change around. The Resident, 103 episodes. Family Guy, 429 episodes. NCIS, 468 episodes. If they are running ads on these things, these are cash cows. This is where syndication, which used to be where television shows made their money, they would get to that 100 episode mark and they would throw a big party on the set to say, oh, we finally reached syndication where we can sell this to other channels and run ads on it. And we'll still have the first run on our network, but then syndication will make us all this extra money. This is where Hollywood used to make its money. So when Bob Iger says, going back over here, Walt Disney has cut its investment in programming for traditional television networks pretty dramatically as part of its strategy to maximize audiences and profit in the streaming TV era. There aren't any streaming shows that people are watching on that level. Fallout is going to fall off at some point. That 2.6 billion watch minutes, that's amazing. It's also Amazon, not Disney. But that's not going to be a show that people rewatch constantly, most likely. What they're going to keep going back for is this sitcom content. When I did my research when I was in business school on streamers, Netflix, at the time that they were going to be losing The Office, Orange is the New Black was the #1 show from Netflix, and it was number 17 on the platform. Everything above that was sitcoms. So people will show up and say, yes, I'm subscribing for Orange is the New Black, House of Cards, The Mandalorian. They'll show up for this big prestige content. But where these streamers make their money is people sitting down and binge watching Little House on the Prairie, binge watching Frasier, a Big Bang Theory, the things that are television mainstays. So I truly do not understand why Bob Iger would say, instead of making the case for it, people are watching this old stuff, so we're going to keep making it. Instead, he says, you know what, we're going to invest in this stuff that is a flash in the pan. Nobody watches it after 3 weeks. Echo right now represents, I think, close to 1/3 of all Disney original streaming. And that Disney original streaming only represents 30% of Disney Plus entirely. And Bluey represents another 30% of content on that platform. Vash, I have talked too much on this video. Help me out here. Why would they do this?
Well, I think the mentality is like, okay, if we have this big blockbuster type content like Fallout, we can get more subscribers. I think they're still in kind of subscriber mode right there, but I think you make this is why I think this is a really astute point that you're making right here, because the cost amortization, that's definitely one thing, but think about the just overall cost for some of this programming. I mean, 23 episodes of Grey's Anatomy is probably a fraction of what it costs to produce a Fallout. So you got to think about that. And here's the thing too. I mean, maybe this big blockbuster content will prevent churn. Maybe it won't. But in terms of viewer retention, in terms of reducing that churn, I don't think you get any better than a television show that reached syndication that is beloved. Something like The Office, like you said before, Grey's Anatomy, NCIS, all those other types of programs. So if you kind of think of it in that aspect, it's like, maybe we should have a balance of this programming, and maybe it will assist you in multiple ways rather than just like turn strictly towards the most expensive content or something there else.
Yeah, totally agree. Watching Bob Iger, who just basically told at the same conference, he told the attendees there that there was no way that Disney Plus would make a profit. At some point, he realized they were investing to the point that Disney Plus could never be profitable if they kept spending the way that they were spending, to an impossible standpoint. First of all, I don't understand why you would sell that to audience. And now he's saying that they're not going to invest in the cash engine of the Walt Disney Company. They bought ABC, they bought the production arm of Fox, and now they're going to say, no, we're going to paying for these streaming shows that don't make any money. I don't understand. And by the way, when they do sitcoms on streaming, they do 8 episodes. I think they've completely forgotten how television works. And I'm only saying this as a person who has a light knowledge of it. So I would like to see a grown-up in the room, a big television executive, inform
But
Bob
isn't
Iger
Iger
of where
from
this money is made.
ABC?
Yeah, he
That's
is.
the ironic thing about this.
And it looks like the next CEO of the company is probably going to be Dana Walden, who comes from television. So really, I do not understand any of this mentality here. So with that being said, we want to throw this to our commenters here. What do you think about this situation? Am I just way off? Are you craving more of, I don't know, the 10 episodes reboot of Frasier? Or if I told you today that there was a show just like Scrubs or just like Suits or something like that and said, yeah, you could watch this, you could get to know these characters, and you could just tune into an episode in any random order and you might have fun watching it. Is that the thing that you would turn on? Or do you want to watch an action-packed streamer with huge budgets that as soon as it's done, you leave yourself thinking, that could have been better. That one character was annoying. I don't understand why they race swapped that person, but where's the next one? By the way, it's going to cost them $250 million to produce that next one. I don't know. Maybe I'm just ranting here. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And of course, like this video if you like this video, and consider subscribing to That Park Plays for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.